All right, so in that last one, we got the reference ID and we were able to store it in our middleware. And now what we want to do is we want to update our model. So if there is an object that has been referred over, then in our model, we want to be able to actually save that object or the friend that shared it by having a foreign key to, well, basically itself. So it's going to be to the same model. It's going to be foreign key to the same model, but we'll see kind of how that works in just a second. And I'll also show you another way of how you could do it as well. All right, so now that we have all this set up just fine, this stuff works good. What we're going to want to do here is I'm just going to kind of go through the thought process is when we go on this is we want to add, like basically add our friend who referred us. Right, so we want to add them to our account, to our join model, right? Or to at least a related model, or a related one, right? That's what we want to do. We want to do that right in that kind of transaction. So if it's created, then we want to give whoever sent us that way credit for it, essentially, without actually changing too much into our form. And this is fairly straightforward. We already have the object or the person who sent us that way. Now, there's still things that we need to do here, but as far as how it's being sent and stuff like that is fine. We get the information, and then all we have to do now is actually save our friend who sent us. Okay, so in our model, like I said, there's going to be two different ways on how you could do this. I'll show you the long way first, and then I'll show you the faster way and probably a little bit more efficient. The long way would be to add a brand new class, and we could call it, let's say, like join friends. And I'm going to call it friends for a specific reason. You could call it join friend, but I'm going to call it friends, and you'll see what the reason is shortly. And I'll do models.model. And within this model, I want to associate this model to this model. Basically, an instance of this model to an instance of this model. And to do that, it's fairly straightforward to do. We're going to use what's called a foreign key. And I'll just say email equals to models.one to one field. This is a type of foreign key. I'll explain what a foreign key is in just a second. And join. And we'll say related name equals to sharer. Okay. So now what this is doing right here is it means that one join friends instance email will be related to this join model, one model on the join. So basically, for example, Coding for Entrepreneurs has a join model. It can only have one join instance, right? So there's that. Now, the other side of it would be email equaling to models.foreignkey join, and then so on and so forth. Foreign key means that Coding for Entrepreneurs, the instance for Coding for Entrepreneurs and join, can have a lot of joins friends, unlimited amount because of foreign key. Okay, so that's the difference between those two. The reason we would want one is because what we're going to actually do for our friends, so friends equals to models dot many to many field, and with a many to many field it can also be join. We would say related name equals to friend, and then we would say null equals to true and blank equals to true. If I want it to be a little bit cleaner, I can use a slash here and then just bring these things down and tab it over. That allows that line to continue. Okay, so we have friends. This many-to-many field means that I can have many relationships from join friends for that one model, right? So let's think about this for a second. We have the one instance of join. So I have an instance of join. I own it. I can only own one join friends model, right? So let's say, for instance, I'm just going to change these things up so I can illustrate the point here. Let's say this is a car, right? And I'm Justin. So in a world where I could only own one car, well, that's what this would do. That's what one-to-one field would be. I can only own one car. But as Justin myself, I can change, these things can change about me or whatever, like my email address can change. Hopefully my IP address can change too. You know, those things can change about me, but the fact that I have this one account here, that also means that I can only own one car. I can have many of these accounts actually, but I can only have, for each one of those accounts, I can only have one car. So just kind of think of that in a way. All right, so now from there, I can have many friends go into this car. It doesn't actually matter how many friends come in and out of this car, right? I own my one car, and I can have many friends come in and out of it, but it's still the one car, right? And that's all it is. So that's what many-to-many fields do. Now, realistically, in real life, a car item would be a foreign key, and we would just be using a foreign key over and over, right? Because in real life, I would be able to have as many cars as I want, or that I could afford to have, and I can also have as many friends go in any individual one of those cars, right? So let's say, for instance, let's go back to this car analogy. Let's say I own 10 cars, okay? Each car has 4 seats, okay? So that means I have a total of 40 possible seats. Okay, but I'm making it simple. Of course, you could probably pile in more people than 40 possible seats. But what that means is that for each 10 car, there's an instance. So that's another way of saying that is there's 10 instances of car, right? So there's 10 versions of car. So the thing that we call car, I have 10 of them. And within car, there's 4 spots for people, right? And these people can come and go as they please, right? So there's 4 spots. Well, if this was unlimited, so let's just say unlimited, that's unlimited spots for people. That's what this would be, right? Where instances of car would be this right here. So instances, each time it's saved, it's an instance of the car. And that's kind of how you'd be able to do that. All right, so I will actually leave this foreign key. What I'll do here is I'm going to actually change everything back. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, putting the code into action, we'll kind of see it a little bit more. All right, so I'm going to leave a one-to-one field. Undo everything to join friends. Okay, good. So now I have one-to-one field for that one join model. And let's actually just add one more time. Let's do a foreign key now to that join model as well. So I'll just say for email all. That doesn't mean anything. I'm just illustrating the point. So foreign key join related name equals to email all. So this right here would not make sense for what we're doing, but I'm just adding it so you guys can kind of understand how these foreign keys work, or at least hopefully understand a little bit better. Okay, so the related name has to happen because we have several foreign keys here, or we have 3 foreign keys to the same spot, and that causes issues, and we'll kind of see what those issues are later when we actually go the faster way of how we'll do it. All right, so now that we have this, I'm just going to add a Unicode. So define Unicode and self. We're going to return self.email.email. And the reason we can do self.email, because it's getting self.email would be the instance email, which has a foreign key relationship to join, which means that I can use the dot notation, so dot email, to grab that. Now, if I was doing friends, I'd have to do friends set and then dot all and then grab one of the friends and then dot email. Okay. So I'm actually going to leave it like that so you can see what this is. And what I'll do is I'll print friends are, and then I'll do self.friends set.all, and then I'll print self.email all and print self.email. These two should be the same. This will not be. This will send back a query set, which we'll see. Okay, so now let's actually add it into our database. Keep spelling foreign key wrong. Okay, there we go. And Python manage.py, schema migration joins -- auto, Python manage.py, migrate. Okay, so let's run the server. And let's see what this does in the admin. So let's actually look at the admin. And in our joins, we see we have 2 there. I need to actually add in join friends to our admin. So I need to add this into our admin to see it. So let's import it into the admin. And all I'm just going to do is admin.site.register join friends. Okay, do a refresh in here. Now I have join friends coming up. If I add something, here's the difference, right? So coding for entrepreneurs, I can add a friend, or, well, I can even add myself as friends, but let's say add a friend and email all. I'm going to use Coding for Entrepreneurs again. Okay, so I have ABC as a friend, Coding for Entrepreneurs. If I save it, it has no items friends set. So maybe in the Unicode it's not going to allow me to do that. Self.friends, we'll just do friends.all. Close out the server, run that again. Oh. Every once in a while you might see something like this, that port is already in use. A lot of times what will fix it is if we just refresh in the page that we're on. Eventually it will stop doing whatever process it's doing, and then it will run the server again. Another way to actually see it is do ls of I and then --8000. So the port that we're going to be using, which is this. Press enter, and then it'll show you what's actually running there. So you would just do kill 9-9, and then the PID, which would be this 1007. That kills it, and then if you noticed, it killed it over here too. So that'd kill whatever process is running there. And if we ran it again, I'm actually glad that came up so you guys could see it. Notice the PID actually does change. So just keep that in mind. And we can kill it again with 1016, and it killed. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, let's run the server again. All right, now let's add these friends. Add it again. Save. Oh, whoops, right here. We don't want that friend set. So the reason friend set's not working has to do with the way calling many-to-many fields on themselves. Friend set will work in other contexts, but I'm just going to leave that out for now. We are getting a little bit too advanced, kind of, I think, for most of you, but I just wanted to show you this way so you would know about it. All right, so we refresh in here, and there we go. And friends.all, friends are, it sends back a list of objects that are related, right? So that should kind of make sense then. And what I did here was I got that list, I got all of it, so friends.all gets the entire list, and then 0 would be the first item in that list, and then email. That's how you would do that dot notation for there. Okay, so this, now let's see kind of what foreign keys also do. So I have email there. If I add it into join friends and I try and do the exact same thing and hit save, it says that an email with this already exists, so it's not allowing me to save another one, but it will allow me to save another one down here where it was just a foreign key. So if I save ABC, I have ABC as the email. Actually, let's change the Unicode so we can see that better. So self.email.email. So we're now looking at the foreign key, or the one-to-one field for the email. Do a refresh in here. we see that there's only one allowed here, and if I even try and change it, it's going to say it already exists, and it's going to run that error. That's what one-to-one fields do. And it makes it very nice for us when we only want one, right? So like in this case, this email, whoever owns this email on here, we only want them to have one set of friends. We don't want them to have 3 sets of friends and have it kind of confusing and stuff like that. We only want one set. However, this is probably not the most efficient way to do this. What a better way to do it would be is to add just one line in here and then save that one line based on what we're going to be doing. I'm going to leave this in here uncommented so you guys can see it, but I'm also going to run python manage.py schema migration joins auto and python manage.py migrate. So I just deleted that whole thing because we're not going to use it. All right, so there's that. But what we are going to use is a foreign key in here. So what I'll do now is I'll say, I can say sharer or friend. Basically, I want to get the parent or whoever actually invited me on here. So I'll just say friend equals to models.foreign key. And it's going to be self. Right, so it's a foreign key to itself. Foreign key to itself, just like what we did down here where we set it to the model. But if we put self here, it will just take in its own objects as a possibility. And we'll say related name equals to referral. Okay, so we could say referral, and null equals to true, and blank equals to true. Because if they're brand new, like if our own marketing efforts brought them there, they won't have a referral. They will not. They'll just be blank. Okay, so what this does is it makes it really easy on us. Since I uncommented this, I would need to go back into the admin.py and delete all this stuff too. Otherwise, we will run into some errors. Okay, so now that we have this, let's do schema migration again. Go up a couple, and then migrate. Let's run the server. All right. Now let's go in here into joins. Click on one of these, and we see that, hey, look, it's the exact same stuff. It shows all the users. It's going to show that the actually owner of that user, but we can even add this in there. So now this person's friend, whoever referred them, is actually showing up in here, right? So it actually will show up. So that being said, we could probably add it into our admin so we can see it. And I'm just going to go in here, do friend. So now we can see who actually signed them up, like who was the referral for us. That's what that is, right? Coding for Entrepreneurs invited ABC. And that's where this is actually coming through, so we can actually see that. So let's test it out. After we do one more thing to our view, and that's this. And all we have to do here is new join, or actually if object. So if not object equaling to none. So if it's not this, then what we'll do is new join old dot friend equals to object. Right, so that should actually save it for us based off of our middleware. It adds it in. Doesn't really even save it, but it will add it in, and it'll do everything that we need it to. Okay, so now that we've that, let's actually delete all of our, let's delete ABC. I'll just delete that one. Okay, I'm going to go on to our homepage, and I'll do codingforentrepreneurs at Gmail again. Just getting the reference ID, basically. So I'll add $ref equals to that. Now I'm on the home page. We got this reference ID coming in. And if I do abc@gmail.com, hit join, brings me to a new reference ID. What we should see is in our admin, assuming that you deleted ABC, we now see that the friend that we have that actually invited ABC is there. Perfect. So now what we could do is I could actually print all of my friends. I'll just print them for now. So print all my friends that are related to me, or that specific email. All right, so what we'll do now is I'll get rid of this comment, or actually I'll put that down. I'll just leave the comment there. So print all friends that joined as a result of owner email. Okay, so owner email, of course, being the main sharer email. So I'll just main sharer email. So now there's going to be a few ways to actually get our friends here. First off, we could do print join objects.filter, and we could do friend equals to object. So this is going to filter everything in our database that has a friend with the object of this one right here. And we know that from this, right? So it's a foreign key, and we can use filter for foreign key. If it was a one-to-one, we would use get. But it's not a one-to-one, so we use filter. Because if it was one-to-one, or if we used get here, we would run some errors, because get means only one thing. Filter means filter down. Okay, so now that we have this, we can actually print out all the objects that are friend. There's one more thing that we can do, is actually print object.referral.all. So models referral, this is the related name. So this is getting from that object. It's related, right? So they are related. There is a foreign key relation, so they are related. So I can use dot notation to go to dot referral and then dot all to get all of them. Also, just so you know, dot filter is the same thing as dot all dot filter. It does the exact same thing. And from there, you can keep filtering as well if you want. Like if we had a filter active equals to true type of thing, which we don't have on ours, but if that was the case, we would do that. All right, so that is how we can actually print out these things. And I just want to tell you that I went through admin and I added a bunch of joins that are related to Coding for Entrepreneurs. So we will do that again. I'll add another one, but first I want to get the reference ID here. All right, so another one at gmail.com. Hit join. Cool. So if we keep doing that, and it will constantly be adding emails in here. But what we can see in our terminal is we're seeing that it's being printed twice. The amount of friends that are actually associated to our join object, right, which would be Coding for Entrepreneurs, which is the reference ID here, right? So it's printing all those out. And luckily for us, we can also print out the count on either one of these. So we could say count or count, and it will print out the count of how many that have actually signed up. So that count will be useful for us later down the line. So that's it. That's all we've got for this one. I know it's a lot, and especially with the foreign key stuff, this might be rather confusing. I would imagine it would be, but just keep in mind that when it comes to foreign keys, they just are related. Now, you don't even have to worry about a many-to-many field, to be honest with you, because you can use this type of foreign key within your objects going forward. And that's kind of the method that I would suggest that you use up front. Down the line, playing around with many-to-many fields is probably a good idea too. But it's likely that you won't come across using many-to-many fields very often. More than likely, you'll use either a one-to-one field or just a foreign key. Those things are how you would relate data to other sets of data. And of course, this foreign key can go to all types of Django models. It does not have to go to itself or a model that is really that related. It could be completely unrelated. Like, let's say, for instance, for join, you might even have something like birth date or something like that, like a full model for that, or address or something that's not really related to join. You could use the foreign key to do that. Not that you would necessarily want to, but you definitely could. Now, when it comes to using users, which we're not going to get into, is you would do foreign key to a user model. So user login and log out, this is what you would use that for. If you want to know more about user authentication, user login, and all that stuff, then check out codingforentrepreneurs.com, because that will cover that in more detail. We aren't going to be covering it in Launch with Code, basically because it's just adding a lot more complexity to something that we just don't need to. Because at this point, what you would be doing is just capturing emails. Now, of course, if a ton of people really want me to convert Launch with Code to a membership type site, just write in the comments below, vote up this video, share it with your friends, stuff like that. Those types of things will help make that actually happen. All right, well, that is it for now. We will see you in the next one.